What is going on, everybody? Just give it a couple minutes, let everybody join up. Just sent out all the links. Let everybody who wants to join show up. Hopefully, you guys are all having a great weekend. Ready to get going this week ahead in the stock market. I think the volume and the end of the year is going to get pretty wild. I wanted to bring this over real quick because I always like looking at for trends and all that, and this is Google Trends, and I just typed in day trade, and you could see the graph right here. Back in the summer when everybody was on furlough and laid off, day trade was at 100 searches on average a day, and you could see it trended down, and now it's starting to ramp back up. Day trade, and then stock market. Look at that bad boy. Stock market, 100 searches a day, and you can just see it just died off, but it's starting to ramp back up right here. And what's interesting about this, we'll go back 5 years on it, and we just had this big volume surge in the stock market, and everything was just blowing up and going crazy. A lot of people had really, really good years this year. Even myself having record profit this year, my best year ever as a day trader. And just look at the past 5 years and the volume spike on it. So we're seeing a lot of money come into this market, take advantage of that. Back 2-3 years ago when I was trading, it was like pulling teeth to try to get people to watch your stuff or your videos and wanting to find somebody to talk about the stock market. Now, you mentioned stock market, and yeah, I made a killing on them airline stocks or those cruise liners. So everybody's getting involved. All these brokers are still opening accounts at record numbers. Like what Nate said from Investors Underground, the end of the year, it's going to get pretty wild, I think. So we got a lot of stocks to talk about. A lot of stocks. I got my watch list. We're going to go over what we're going to talk about and just prepare for the upcoming week. Let me bring over my daily chart here. So we'll start off with KCAC. KCAC started ramping right into the end of the day on Friday, right here. From 1650s, ramping all the way up to almost $20, and then running up to over $21 after hours. Friday, after we ended the live stream, I traded KCAC right here. No, that's SOLO. We'll talk about SOLO in a moment. I was able to get my revenge back on SOLO. Bring this over real quick. I traded KCAC. I bought 3,000 shares and wrote it up $1, made almost $3,000. So looking for a continuation on KCAC on Monday. KCAC has a history of running in the past. It's like I've said many, many times. Traders remember stocks that run. KCAC is one of those stocks. And then when we did the live stream on Friday, one of the trades that I took was SOLO. I was down on SOLO, $600, but after we ended the live stream, I was able to make that $600 back and go positive $600. Right when this started to bottom out, right here at this $6, I started getting into it. It was a great risk versus reward setup. If it fell below 575, I was going to cut it for a loss. I let it ramp up to the VWAP, up at 650. So a nice little 6 or 50-cent profit, scaling into it and scaling out of it as it was approaching VWAP. So after that, brought my total to $3,000 on the day. But then after I traded KCAC for $3,000, brought my total profit to $6,000 on the day. So when we did the live stream, I was only up $1,700 when we ended that. But Friday was a little bit slow of getting off. And then as we started going into noon and the end of the day, a lot of stocks started picking up steam and taking off. So KCAC, I'm going to be watching this going into Monday. And then CBAT is still hanging around. CBAT was in play Thursday and Friday. Look at all this volume on Friday right here. Zoom in on this. From 520s all the way up to $7. Coming right back up over that $6. Still in play. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this going into the week. Same thing with SOLO. If SOLO can get up and above that 650 and push over 7, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one also. Zoom in on this bad boy right here. Look at that. This thing's been going up for 3 days straight from 350 all the way up to $8. Wednesday, Thursday right here was a nice day for it. And then Friday having that nice morning spike. And then everybody started to just take their profit on it, and it just kind of went sideways for the rest of the day. What really got my attention on SOLO, what it did, let me get my marker, was right here when it pulled back and it had this drop down right here, and it was able to reclaim, and it never dropped any lower from that 575 mark. So 550 is going to be the area to keep an eye on for SOLO. My guess for SOLO, it's going to gap up Monday. So we'll just see where it gaps up to on Monday. Whenever you have a stock that's been bullish and it's closing near or above the VWAP, chances are it's going to gap up. It doesn't happen all the time, but chances are it's going to do that. And it had 171 million in volume on Friday. That's absurd. So we got a lot of stocks on the watch list. A lot. LYL, this was on Nate's watch list. And I'm just putting this on my watch list because look at that daily chart. It's a 5.7 million float stock. And this daily just looks beautiful. Look at that U shape on it right there. So the trigger for this is going to be that 425, 450 level. If it can get up and above that, watch out. It hasn't been up and above 450. Beginning of 2018, this could run up to almost $7. I can see it running up to $750. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one. FSR, I'm going to be watching this one as well. Very volatile and in play. You can see all last week it had this ramp up right here, and then it had this long accumulation all right here. And it popped up, was holding as support. Friday gaps up and just range bound right there. So we'll see if FSR can get that push up to that mental $20. The float on it is a bit bigger at 37.5 million. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one also. AYRO. Again, Thursday, beautiful setup on it. Let's zoom in on this on Thursday. Right here. Look at that nice move that morning. Got a little micro pullback to the VWAP, pushes back up to new high of day, and then consolidated all lunch hours, forming that nice big wedge on it. And then when power hour comes in, all that volume comes in, and from $3 pushes up 50 cents right there. And if you look at that daily chart, this daily chart looks good. Zoom in on this. You could see that 13 EMA pushing up and above that 50-day, ran all the way up to that 100-day moving average at 350. Now it's pushing up through that to $4. So this can keep pushing all the way up to 450s, even maybe $5. It's got room to run. But we've just had 2 straight green days in a row. So this might pull back, and I'd look for a possible bounce at 350s. The float is a little bit higher on it too at 21 million. So like I said, guys, a lot of setups. Don't get overwhelmed with all of these setups. Just keep tabs on them and trade the best A+ setup. That's all it is. I have all of these stocks on my watch list just to keep track of them. And then when that opportunity presents itself, I attack. You can see Friday had a nice pop from 340s up to 380s. Sold down all the way back to 330s. But if you look at the big picture on it, and was using the previous day as a guide. Let me zoom in a little bit. That chat box gets in the way. So AYRO pulled back right to the area. It pulled back way over here the previous day. Beautiful downtrend on it. Volume was decreasing as it was pulling down from the highs. Pushes right back up to the area it flushed out from. Consolidated right near that VWAP. And the end of the day, got that power hour push. Paying attention to the big picture. Always want to pay attention to the big picture. That's why you use multiple time frames. Like I look at 3-minute charts and 10-minute charts. See, look at that right here. Looks a lot cleaner on a 10-minute time frame. You got your pretty much wedge right there. Broke to the upside. Then it pulled all the way back down pretty much to the area it broke out from. Ramped right back up to this high right here. And then curled up. And then off she went up. Volume stepping up right there. So I'd look for AYRO to possibly pull back down to this 360s, maybe even 370s. Look for it to have a shallow pullback before it breaks through that $4. I don't want to see it push up, just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and break through that $4. You got to think of stocks as people. They're going to move up and down in stages. Consolidation could be either or. It just depends on which direction the trend is. You know, a stock could move up and then consolidate and then trend down. Or a stock can move up, consolidate, and then continue moving up. It's just paying attention to the big picture, not trying to predict, but anticipate what could happen. using the past to help guide the future. That's what it's all about. So still watching SUNW also. If you look at the daily chart on this, it's got a beautiful setup. Look at that daily. It's almost like it's curving up, like curving like that. And then you also have that 13 EMA. It's basing out at that level. This needs to get up and going above 350 though. If this can get up and going above 350, then I'll start paying more attention to it. But again, this has a good setup if we look at the multiple time frames. We'll start at the 10-minute. You can see that 10-minute right here. It's kind of like wedging out. Like it's basing out right here. Connect your highs up. 25 and push up to that 350s. Then we could possibly see $4 on it. Again, the flow is 16.6 million. A lot of like medium-sized float stocks I'm seeing. And what I've noticed a lot of last week, we had a lot of stocks would make a move and then it would consolidate in a range. And it would either do that for the rest of the day, a couple days, consolidate for 3 days and make its move. A good example of that was WKHS, I believe. Yeah. This is the 1 minute time frame. So look what this did. This pushed all the way up to that $19 and it was just accumulating all right there at 19. Couldn't get above it right there. Falling back down, pushing back up. 19, accumulation all day right there. The next day, accumulation's done, ramps all the way up to over $20 right there. Gaps up the next day, Friday, to almost $22. Comes all the way back down, and look at right where it found support. It did crack through it, and it's still cracking through it, but you see the bottom line. Old support or old resistance was trying to hold as support over here. So keep an eye on WKHS to hold up above that $19. It had a sick sell-off on Friday, but you got to think Friday, people don't want to go into the weekend holding on to positions. People just accumulated it all from 19 and rode it up. What, $3? So they're going to want to take their profits. So add NI or WKHS on your list also. And then a lot of people were talking about NIO on Friday, especially Dekmar. NIO had its biggest sell-off in the history of the company. Just a sick sell-off from $54 all the way down to $41. $13 to the downside. And then look at it, bounced right off that 40 all the way up to 45. Nice $5 bounce on it. But I think it's got room to run to at least 49, 50 bucks for a bounce. So I'll be keeping an eye on NIO also. GTEC, this has been a moneymaker for a lot of people. Just look at this daily chart. You guys can't really see that there with the chat box in the way. I'm sorry. on this daily chart, 1, 2, 3, 4 straight green candles right here, and it's still going and on light volume. So just be cautious on GTEC, and you never know, there could be a short squeeze. You know, the float is super low on this stock. It's only 1.2 million float. So it's just about a nano float stock. And if you zoom out on this, it's got room to run over. If it can get up above that 1050, sky's the limit. I mean, there is no resistance above that. So keep an eye on GTEC for anything crazy, because shorts are probably sweating. WWR, I'll cover it just real quickly. It's got a squeeze going on it. Float's 11 million. But if you look at the daily, that 50-day moving average is moving right up to that 13 EMA. And you can just see how tight it's getting right here on the daily chart, right here. It's getting really tight, so a pop could be coming soon. And it's holding above that $4. I mean, someone in chat called it out Wednesday, or Wednesday or Tuesday, and I've been keeping an eye on it since, because it had this big gap up. Where was it? It was like right here. It was having this gap up, and I said $4 on it will probably be support. Sure enough, at that $4, well, it's right there, but it dipped down to almost $4 right here, hanging around just above it. Another big gap up, and then bounced right off $4 up to $4.50. It's just been hanging out at that $4. CCL. A lot of people were talking about this stock. A lot of people. So CCL had a big gap up right here. It gapped up and above that 200-day moving average, but it just sold off for 3 straight days, all the way down to that 50-day moving average. Why did it have it just a violent sell-off? Well, you got to think back to when all this COVID stuff just started happening. All these cruise liners crashed right here. You have to think of everybody and their mother, their grandmother, their grandfather, their kids. Everybody was all buying right here. Everybody was all buying. So they've been holding on to this stock from April all the way to November, the end of the year. They either want to get out of it because they're tired of holding on to it, or just they want to wash their hands with it. They want to move on because they're tying up money. They're just tied up money for half a year, and they're going into a new year. All these hedge funds and institutions, they're going to start closing out their books. So any positions that they have, they're waiting for it to unload on it. Everybody was buying CCL, RCL, all these airliner stocks when they had that huge crash. So you got to think of everybody who all bought it all up in here. And you got to think of everybody, all the long-term holders who had it before the crash. They've been waiting and waiting for the stock to have a good, decent day so they can finally possibly wash their hands with it. So just a good bounce opportunity on CCL. That's all it is a bounce opportunity. You could see that it double topped right here pretty much. And then from 1950, sold off all the way down And look at all this volume right here. Let me move this over for you guys can see. So this is a 10-minute time frame. All this volume right here. Look at that. So everybody's chasing after this, buying it. So we could see a nice move from this 1550s up to almost $17. And if it can get above 17, it'll move up to 1750 and then maybe run up to 19. We'll see. So I'll be keeping that on watch also. CCL is more of like a swing type stock. You swing it for a few hours or maybe a day. APVO, I'm still keeping this bad boy on watch. APVO has been very, very, very good to me. It's been basing out right at that $40, and it still has not cracked yet. So shorts are still sweating. This stock has been holding up like a champ, but I will give caution. Be very, very cautious of APVO. The spread is very, very wild, and this stock loves to move dollars at a time. Dollars at a time. Let's zoom in on a day here real quick. Look at this. Look at the range on this. From right here, we're at $60, and it slams all the way down to $49, and it goes into a halt. Reopens and slams all the way down to $43, and then rips from 43 all the way back up to 57. So a $14 move. So you don't really need to buy many shares of this stock to make a good profit. But if you get caught on the wrong side, it's going to hurt. So just be cautious. This stock is not for beginner traders. I repeat, this stock is not for beginner traders. Imagine getting caught in this right here from $44 down to here at $38. That's a $6 move to the downside. You know, you're holding on to 100 shares, let's just say. That's $600 loss. 1,000 shares, that's a $6,000 loss in 2 minutes. And like I said, the spread is very, very huge. Don't go chasing after stocks like this. But this did have a wicked, wicked squeeze. This was last 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. But right here, just out of nowhere. And we knew it was going to happen because it just was not cracking. It was just for days and days just hanging near its highs. And then market closed and boom, from 22 squeezed all the way up to $80. Somebody lost a lot of money on the short side right there getting squeezed, and somebody made a lot of money on that right there. Just imagine having 1,000 shares and it shoot up $60. That's $60,000. That's wicked. But moving on. So APVO, I'm still keeping an eye on it. It has not cracked yet. And that goes with SRRK. This stock's still hanging around. And what do I mean by hanging around? Look at that daily chart. Right here, guys. See how it shot up and then now it's just hanging out near its highs? You got to think of all the shorts who are thinking this is up way too much, and they're shorting it, waiting for it to crack, and it's not cracking yet, and it's been going on for days. when it keeps going up, they'll have to cover. A lot of people forgot about this stock. People move on. You see that happen a lot too. A stock will have one awesome, crazy day, and then the next day a new stock will pop up, and everybody will forget about the previous day's stock. Happens all the time. But SRRK, I'm keeping close tabs on this. Just keep on watch, I'm telling you. It has not cracked yet. Very, very light volume on it, but beautiful setups on it. I mean, come on. Look at this 10-minute. This big range right here from 41 up to 43 gets that huge pop up and then fails and is holding right here. So it could crack and fall back down to 40, or it could get one more pop right back up to 46. You got to think of the bigger time frame and bigger picture when trading these types of stocks, because if you're just sticking to the 1 minute, I mean, look at that. There's not really much going on here on the 1 minute. Very, very no volume at all. And you could easily get flushed out of a position and just not paying attention to the big picture. But nice flush down here Friday, and then it just went sideways the rest of the day, holding up. I'm still going to be watching NETE also. NETE has a history of running in the past. A lot of talk's been going on lately about these natural gas stocks. So I'm going to keep tabs on those stocks. NETE, like I've mentioned, has a history of running major big. So I'm going to keep tabs on it. PLL, I'm just going to see what happens with it. I'm not really too excited on it. It had a lot of failed follow through on Friday. Just very, very choppy and back and forth. This was the action here Thursday. You could see it ran from 24 all the way up to 28. And then it looked like it was having a head and shoulders right here. There's your shoulder, your head, maybe your another shoulder either right there or right there. But it just failed to follow through. And then you zoom to the next day. It had that really good morning wedge right here, but it just cracked and fell through, held just below VWAP the whole day, and then the other day it just puttered out. So I'll just see what happens with it. Snapchat, I'm going to keep an eye on Snapchat as it's holding above its 13 EMA on the daily chart. Needs to get back in above 41 for me to possibly consider trading it. And then a lot of people are talking about Plug and these electric cars, electric related stocks. So keep an eye on Plug. Yesterday it downtrended all day on Friday. So possibly look for a good bounce from this downtrend. Think of it as a rubber band. You know, this pulled back all day, making lower highs and lower lows. Think of it as a rubber band. It built up that tension, built up, built up, built up, built up, and then the next day, snap. And that's when you can get a really good bounce on these plays, guys. Got room to run up to about 24 bucks possibly. And if it can get above that, maybe it'll see 25 again, but we'll see. This stock's been really, really hot. I mean, from $14 all the way up to $24. That's a good run. I got LI on my list for a good bounce. Nice ramp Thursday from 26 all the way up to $41. And then Friday, just a sick sell-off from the highs all the way down to $30. So we could see a nice bounce on this. Easy $5. I can see it. Let it base out here at 30. If $30 holds, this has room to run all the way up to $35. Right up 33, 35. I'll say that. But playing off of those mental numbers, like I say, $30 is a good mental level. That's that whole $10 level. Knowing no one's going to be watching for a stock to bottom out at $31 exactly. You know, $31, $30 sounds much better. It's a whole rounded number, even number. So look for it to bottom out right here for a good bounce. I'm actually going to add this up to my top chart so I don't forget. I really like the setup on this. FPRX, maybe it'll do something. It needs to hold up above $20. I'm just going to keep an eye on it and see what it does. This had a lot of moves pre-market, because you can see, if I zoom in on it, the first day here, you could see it made most of its move pre-market, and then when the market opened, it just faded out. And then if I fast forward to the next day, pre-market again, made most of its moves, very volatile. It had one good U-shape right here, but then it faded out. And then fast forward to Friday. Friday, it didn't really do anything. It just faded off, and on light volume too. I would just look for that $20 to hold up on it, see what happens. I'm just going to keep an eye on it. XPEV was another big mover last week, moving from $31 all the way up to $51. $20, guys. That's wild. Look at that move on Thursday right here. It's like, it's weird. Like a lot of consolidation. What's the float on this? Like 1 billion XPEV? Because it looks like all right here is accumulation. All accumulation. And why I say that is when it slams down like that, it bounced. There's a buyer there, and it had that bounce up, but then it went sideways right here. Like prices, when price is hanging around one specific price area and not going any lower, really, that's accumulation. So all this accumulation here at 33.50, and then we fast forward, prices did fall down lower, then it came right back up and went sideways. And then here, I call this the death grind. It just had a quick pop, pulled back, and then grinded up slowly the rest of the day. Right there, having a death grind. Got that big gap up, pulled back, and it just got momentum and just took off. And it didn't even look back. These bigger float stocks, you got to look at them as freight trains. You know, that accumulation, and then once it starts going in that direction, it's like a freight train. You're not going to stop it. And it takes a lot to stop it. You know, not one particular person is going to stop this stock unless, you know, they own majority of the company. But I mean, look at that freight train move. That's a big move. Very wild. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this for any potential bounces. I love playing bounces. And then we had REV pop up every single day last week, just about. And it all started right here on Tuesday. Tuesday, this just exploded. Look at that volume surge right there. From $6, explodes all the way up to almost $14. And then comes all the way back down. And then the next day, right at the market open, spikes from $7, $8 all the way up to $12, pulls back, and then ramps all the way back up to 14. From that, looks to be about $9. So from 9 to 14, almost $15, that's a $6 move. That's a wicked move. And then fast forward to the next day. Nothing really going on there. And then Friday, it just like clunked out. Like people forgot about it. They're ready to move on. And it's probably just going to fade back off. But keep an eye on it for shorts covering their position. Got to remember, shorts make money when stocks go down. So if a stock continues going down, all these shorts are going to pile into it. And then when it starts going down lower, when one short covers, the stock starts to spike. And then another short covers because now he's losing money. And it's like a domino effect. And that's when you could see these things just fly up on air pretty much because all these shorts are freaking out. They're covering, getting out of it. And I'm telling you guys, this thing could fade all the way back down to $6 and then start to level out. And then boom, it'll blast up to $12 in a blink of an eye. Happens all the time. And then I was watching Sava. Sava had a big gap down Friday from 11.25. Opens up here Friday at around $8. So what I was looking for on Sava on Friday with this big gap down, that created an error in the chart. This big gap down. So when you have an error in the chart, a lot of times you'll see the stock try to come back up and correct that error and fill the gap. So here, when it opened up at 8.50, it had a quick pop to 9, but then faded off back down, and it's been leveling out at this $8. So I'd look for it to hold this 8 and possibly work its way back up to that 9. And if it can break through 9, 9.50 is going to be that next level. And then that mental $10 is going to be the next mental level. This could have a good run all the way up back to where it gapped down from. So I'm going to continue watch this. A lot of people will have eyes on Sava. I know that. Someone asked if I can look at UAVS, if he's still here. I'm not really interested in it. The price is really too low for me. I don't really care for stocks under $2, $3 because it just leads to randomness. But on the daily chart, it's been up 3 days in a row. And just look at that ramp up. You're about to be running into a lot of resistance here at $3. A lot of resistance. But if it can get above 3, which is asking for a lot, I could see it running up to 330s, 350s, topping out at 350 maybe. But I wouldn't be interested in buying a stock after it popped here, consolidated more, and now it just had its ramp up. So you'd be buying at the top up here. This is probably going to pull back down to 250. I'd look for 250 to hold. If 250 holds, I'd look for a possible long on it. But from 250, it could fall down to 225. And so on. If the demand's there for it, that's what counts. If there's no demand for the stock, there's no reason for the price to go up. I'm telling you guys, stay away from Timothy Sykes. Pumps these penny stocks. A lot of his students are big fans of them. I'm telling you guys, stay away from stocks under $2, $3. They're not worth your time. They're not. They're garbage. You got to think too, a lot of noobs are trading these super small cap stocks. They don't know what they're doing, and it just leads to randomness. So McGurgle asks, what trades do you recommend us watch this week? I just went over my whole watch list. So go back in this video the past hour, and I went through my whole playlist of every stock I'm watching. There's a lot going on this week. A lot. So add all these stocks to your list and just keep tabs on them. And then when you see that A+ setup, attack. So we got all of our watch list, but then now we got to see what pops up Monday. So this is why I go through and I make like a back burner watch list. That way Monday, if nothing pops up or nothing's going on, I have a watch list to fall back to. And from this weekly watch list, I go through pre-market, I go back through it, pick the stocks that have the best possible setup, let the market open, let the first 10 to 15 minutes go by, see what sets up, and then I go from there. There's a lot of opportunity going into this next week, and I think, like I said, the end of the year, it's going to get pretty wild. But great week last week. Last week, I made over $20,000, guys. And then the week before that, I made another over $20,000. This year, 2020, has been the best year for me as a trader. And I'm sure it's been great for a lot of other traders too. A lot of people are really having record years this year because it's been easy. Trading has been super easy this year. All the setups and stocks, they just keep going and going and going. You get dips, you buy the dips, and they keep going. Nothing has really ever failed. Nothing. I mean, look at this. For an example, MYOV here. It just keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up. And you get all these people who just never sell, and more buyers come into it. The stock just keeps going and going and going up. And then when it crashes in one day, like NIO, they don't sell, and then they say, well, what happened? You know, always lock in profits. But this was a big squeeze here on NIO, and now it's just unwinding. NIO has just been a wild stock. This is the daily chart. Let's go look at the weekly. From the weekly here, At the start of 2020, NIO was $4. It dipped down to $2. And from $2, it never looked back. And it ran all the way up to 56 bucks. So you're going to have a lot of sellers taking profit from everybody who just kept buying and buying and buying and buying and adding on to their long-term investment portfolio. Now they're going to start selling because it just had a really big bad day. But you're going to hear all of these analysis too talk about, the presidential election. If Biden takes the office, the stock market's going to crash, the economy's going to go to crap. You never know what's going to happen. So just never don't listen to what people say on the TV, or you're going to see a lot of videos, and I bet you if you go to YouTube and type in stock market crash 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, there's going to be all kinds of videos. People are going to put out there what people want to hear. Jay Shelton says, awesome, congrats, my guy. Thank you, man. Been doing this for 5 years. It's been a long journey. But you guys can all do it too. You just got to put that work in every day. You got to show up every single day. Put that screen time in. HOV, I know a lot of people had this on watch on Friday, and this was just a pretty much pump and dump. Gapped up, failed, came back down from 3s all the way back down to 2. For some reason, people were watching this one too. I don't know why. Whenever you have a stock that merges with another company or it's a buyout, the price is already in the stock. Like if someone bought this company and they bought it at $16 a share, the price ain't going to go anywhere. But I covered all my stocks that I'm going to be watching for the week. And I already analyzed AYRO. That was earlier in the video. I'm watching AYRO. I'm going to keep tabs on it, but the float is a bit bigger on AYRO. And it's got a big wall at 485. We'll see what happens. I don't want to, when I do technical analysis Sunday nights, I don't really want to get too far ahead of myself because the stock could either gap up or it could gap down. And all those levels I drew out the night before will be pointless and worthless. APWC, another garbage stock under $2. I don't trade or do stocks under $2. If my guess, the stock will probably fall right back down below $1 and the company will probably go bankrupt. That's my honest opinion. I'm telling you guys, stay away from those stocks under $2. It's just not worth it. I think I know what gets people's attention though. A lot of people don't really have a large account. They maybe only have like a couple $1,000 account. And they think trading these stocks under $2, they can buy a $2,000 account. You could buy 1,000 shares of it, 500 shares of it. And if it goes up $1, you made $1,000, $2,000. You just doubled your account. But I'm telling you guys, these stocks under $2, it's just not worth it. It's a lot of randomness. Let's see that APWC. No, I just don't see anything value in it. APM? You guys are saying a lot of stocks I never even heard of. Yeah, I mean, does that stock look tempting at all? No. That stock doesn't look tempting at all. There's nobody trading it. Even if I look at a bigger time frame, a 10-minute, nothing looks tempting about that stock. Nothing. Look at that. It had one big move right here with all that volume. Now think of everybody who's all stuck in that. Everybody who bought right there. They're waiting now for eternity for if the price will ever get back to this level so they could finally sell up here at 11 bucks and the stock's at 2 bucks. And if you zoom in, the stock's been at that level like from 202 to 220, a 20-cent range it's been in back and forth from the beginning of November. So for 2 weeks. And even if you zoom out, like, nothing's tempting about that stock. So that was 2 stocks under 2-3 bucks. Yeah, that's what I call them, the lotto tickets. That's all they are. Because you got to think, these companies that are under $2 a dollar, they're desperate to grow as a company. So whenever they have a good day, the stock moves up, they're going to take that money, do an offering, and then they're going to reinvest that money back into the company to try to grow it. So it's just not worth it. I'm telling you guys. See, a stock like, for an example, we'll look at CBAT. It had one good day and people were trading it. And look at the range on CBAT. The bottom at 522, the top is at $7. This stock moved $2. All right? If you even bought 250 shares of it and you catch a dollar move on that, that's 250 bucks in your pocket. That's a good ramp move on that. Even FSR, like with these, and I've noticed with a lot of stocks, once they break over that $10 mark, that's when they really start moving. They can move dollars at a time. I mean, look at right here with FSR. You know, gaps up from the 10s up to a high of a 12, pulls back and bounces off of $11, and from 11 runs all the way up to $14.50. A $3.50 up move from 9:30 to 12:30 in 3 hours. So within 3 hours, this stock moved $3.50 compared to a stock that moves 20 cents in 2 weeks. All right, I'm done with you guys and these tickers. You guys are all giving me stocks under 2 bucks. What's tempting about AIHS? There's nothing tempting about that stock. It's at $1 and it pops to $1.10. just to make good money on this, you'd have to buy, for me, I'd have to buy probably 20,000 shares of it. And for it probably just to move up to $1.20, you know, because that's where it'll probably top out at. It's just not worth it. So the purple line, I don't have a purple line. I have a red, orange, and a blue line. You mean this bluish line right here? That's the previous day's close. But I think, let me look at JMIA. JMIA has been a pretty good mover, moving $1 at a time. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about right here. From 20 bucks, it had this nasty sell-off right here, all the way down to 12 bucks. It had that bottom dip right there. There was a buyer, and it ramped all the way back up, and it came back down, and then it consolidated, basing out all right here. And from that 13 bucks, it just grinded all the way up $2 to 15 bucks. Right here. So that basing out, quick morning pop, slowly decayed all the way back down to the area it was consolidating at. Right here. Bouncing at that support right there. And then all the way back up to the highs right there. Stocks all move in their own weird ways. Even look at the 10-minute here. On JMIA, stock likes to pop, retrace, went sideways, pop, retrace, pop, retrace, pop, retrace, pop. This is looking like it's wanting to break out. So I'd look for it to break over that 15 bucks, and this could run all the way up to 1650 and 1750. I'm going to keep JMIA on watch. Yeah, JMIA is the Amazon of Africa. Yup. I remember when this stock IPO'd. It was wild. I think it opened at like 20 bucks and it ran all the way up. I can't even remember how much it ran up. Because they did a stock split, I believe. And it just totally messed with the daily chart. See, this is a weekly chart. And if I swip it over to a monthly, and then back to a daily, it just doesn't match up. Because I had a chart of this. Let me see if I can find it. See, I have all these charts here. All of these are charts that I save. And I recommend you guys do the same thing. You see a stock or a chart, take a screenshot of it, break it down. See, this is XSPA all the way back from 2019, the beginning of 2019. And this is all I do. I take pictures of these charts. I break them down and I learn from it. I learn from these charts. Like Old resistance held as support. Old resistance. This should have held as support all right here, but it grinded all the way up. Little small things like that, because stocks all move in their own weird ways. Like, see how I broke it all down right here? Like, this is what you guys got to do if you want to get good at this. And this is how you get better at breaking down charts. See, I have my reasoning right here, why the chart made a move like it did. And what did we just talk about earlier? When a stock has a big gap down like that, it's an error in the chart. Let the stock base out, and then more than likely it's going to run back up and fill that gap to where it fell from. That's what happened. But there's all kinds. I have all these charts from my career that I've just took screenshots of, broke them all down, and this is how you get better, guys. This is all how you get better. If you don't dedicate yourself to this, you won't make it. If you don't have that desire, if you don't jump out of bed every day and excited to be here and want to learn and grow as a trader and a individual, a human, you just won't make it. You won't. I'm trying to find that JMIA. I have so many of these. I'll be able to spot it too. These are all types of different chart patterns. Wedges, head and shoulders, triangles, symmetrical charts, stuff like that. Epic charts, supernova charts. Like, these are wild charts. Like this ABIO running from $5 all the way up to $20. And then getting that U shape and then slowly decaying. Just nobody interested in it. The great and crazy BPTH, when it ran from literally like $5 to like $83 or something. CHK from $38 up to $76. ELTK. Kodak, when Kodak ran from 20 all the way up to 60. KRTX running from 28 all the way up to $100 in one day. And then it kept going from $84 all the way up to $150. You see the life-changing moves that could happen in the stock market? I mean, the stock ran almost $100 in an hour and a half. Wow. Yeah, look at that. That's from day one when it was at like under $20, running all the way up to $150 in 2 days. And this is, you take screenshots of these guys because it'll happen again. And if you've seen it happen over and over and over again, this is where you bank as a trader, because human nature never changes. This is U1. U1 was a wild one too, from $5 or 6 day 3 parabolic from $6 to $39. This was day 2. This was day 1 when the pump first started. Right here. This was when volume started coming into it. A big buyer came into it right here and spiked it up. And then prices slowly faded back off and leveled. And then the next day, they promoted it and pumped it. And this is what happened. Market opened, nothing really going on. Promoters pumped it, and prices were going up. Started going off on everybody's scanners. All this volume came into it. Stock starts rising and exploding. Start shorting it. I remember U1 was a nano float stock. Like the float was under 1 million. And shorts shorted it. And then look what happened. It came back. Shorts cover their position. And then day 3 went parabolic from 6 to 39. Then day 4, it consolidated. Day 5, it ran from 12 up over $30. Day 6, I mean, just wild stuff, guys. Wild. And I think that this was Urban won, and then they did a direct offering. They sold shares of their stock right here. Just wild stuff. WKHS, back when the president first tweeted about it, early 2019. Yeah, they did, Dub. They sold it and cashed in. I don't blame them. I would have done the exact same thing. Look at that. They sold 49,000 shares at $1.3 million. They hit the lottery. The stock was under $5. And then a couple of days later, it's up over $30 and you're holding 50,000 shares. I'd do the same thing. But I take pictures of all this stuff and I save it because, I mean, it's all history here. This is all what this is. And you guys see it too. It just happens and happens and happens over and over and over again. I mean, even on BPTH here, ramps right off of the VWAP, goes parabolic, and then crashes all the way down. And look at it, just bounces off of the VWAP the rest of the day from $30 up to $44, just back and forth, just like nonstop. You know, I mean, that's opportunity there. Learn from it, move on, it'll happen again. Yeah, that was a serious dump right there from $74 all the way down to $24, a $50 drop right there. That was wild. But those are all the epic charts that I have. And then these are huge run-up halts. Like from $10, $6, all the way up to $52. KELYB, this wasn't too long ago, from $30 all the way up to $100, and then crashes all the way down. I don't think I'll be able to find that JMIA though. I know I have it though, that's the thing. But I heard someone say that, yeah, this could be a cup and handle on JMIA. It very well could be. You know, you got your cup right here. You got your handle. but that would have probably been the breakout right there, or breakout. I can't talk. Now it's getting another pullback. So this could be like a double handle coffee cup, if you got a sense of humor. One of those wacky coffee cups. So it's a double handle coffee cup, and off it goes. Put both your fingers in right there. But keep an eye on it. I mean, a lot of people trade JMIA. I mean, look at the volume. It's clearly tradable. Their average volume on it is 20 million a day. So if a stock has volume and price it's got good range, it's tradable. Just remember that, guys. If a stock has volume and the stock has range, it's tradable. You don't want to be trading stocks like, what was that one? And I'm not trying to pick on it. AIHS. Like, it has random days of volume from a stock promoter right here. And look what happened every time. Big surge of volume, promotion. Everybody dumps it. Big surge in volume, promoted. Everybody dumps it. Big in volume, dumps it. Everybody, all the promoters dump it. That's all it is with those small cap stocks. They're just so easily manipulated. And then even if you go like that's, to me, that's not tradable. That's not tradable for me. And then this is the 1 minute. That's not tradable to me. You want solid, juicy candlesticks with volume. Look at all that volume all day, and this big range with just big, huge candles. That's what you want. Okay, so Carabao, Amanda, I already went over WWR. It's already on my list. Just real quickly, if it holds above $4, great. I could see it hitting 450s. What's that one? LTRPA? Must have been one of the charts I had up. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Over 3 or good over 10. Really don't. Sorry. But we've been streaming now for over an hour. If there's any other stocks that you guys want me to go over, feel free to let them out. Just let them be stocks above $2. I don't want to waste my time with penny stocks. No offense to you guys, it's just my preference. I don't pay no attention to stocks under $2. Sure, we'll have those market cycles where stocks heat up and it's the only thing in play are stocks under $1 and they shoot up to $2-3, but it rarely happens. KZIA? Yeah, we could talk about KZIA. Just give me 1 second, guys. I gotta get something to drink. My mouth is just dry. So just give me a second. All right, KZIA. I'd be careful with it. Sorry, I didn't mean to blow your guys' eardrums out with that. KZIA, I would just be careful with it, guys. It's pushing up on very light volume. I mean, look at the daily chart on it. Yeah, it's got 1.6 million on this push up, but that's not a lot. That's not a lot of volume at all. Compared to a stock like Solo that had 171 million in volume, you know, this thing could easily flush all the way back down to $7.57. So it's pushing up on light volume, and KZIA has a history of the CEO getting on Twitter and pumping the stock. I mean, just look at even this day right here, this big red candle. That day had 21 million in volume, and it slammed down. And if you look at the recent action here, look at how much it's pushing up and on significant less volume. That's a false alarm right there. Right there. So just be careful with that. CODX. We'll cover that one in a second. And even look at that big ramp on it. Like, that's wild. From 550s all the way up to $10. That's a huge supernova move on it. Like, hold on, let me get it. Like this right here. That's what KZIA just did. It just went for a ride. It's a wild move. Look at that big volume surge right there. 300K volume on the 10-minute time frame. Right there at 850s. So I'd look for it to pull back down to this 850s. Wow. Look at those upper wicks. Right there. From 975 spikes up to $10. There's a big seller up there. Right with that, and that. Imagine trying to buy that breakout and then it pop real quickly from 975, 960 even to $10 and fill you with a market order, and it fell and just slammed back down. That would suck. That other one was CODX. CODX. That's a good one on CODX. Yeah, this would be more of like a swing, like a few hour swing. Maybe, I don't know if I'd swing it for a couple days or anything, but I like the CODX. It's not bad. It just had a sick sell-off from 17 all the way down to 15, so $2. But this did just ramp. Wow. I was looking at this a while back with my lines way back here. shorts probably got squeezed. That's what happened with it. Because if you zoom in on it, let me remove that real quick. This was in a range all right here from 15 down to 13. Just back and forth action. Yeah, it fell below it right here, but it came right back up and it held it. And it held it, and then it fell down, and it dipped from 13 all the way down to 1050 right there. Ripped back up, was finding resistance right here at where that old support was, geared up and pulled back, shot up and retested it, and then shot right through it. All those shorts covering their positions just rifled this thing all the way up. I would have looked for this area right here to hold as support, but it didn't. At like 15 bucks. It's like hanging around it right now. I'd look for this area to hold up as support because remember when it was all in that big long range? I'd look, now that it broke above that, I'd look for it to hold as support and then work its way back up to possibly 17. So you're just going to have to keep an eye on it the next few days and see what happens. So Kumar asked, do you have volume scanners or any other good ones in Schwab? If you go to my playlist on my YouTube channel, I have a stock scanners and screeners playlist with a lot of videos of all the scanners and screeners that I use and that I still use to this day. You know, I barely ever change things up. I keep things the same. So Harvey asked about PLTR. That stock sounds familiar. Yeah, I remember PLTR. It's pretty sloppy, though, to tell you the truth. I'm not a fan of it. Why I say that? Because it doesn't know which way it wants to go. Like, let's break this down. Like, it did have a good move right here. So, it formed this wedge right here. So it gapped up, you know, broke out from that wedge up. And when it came all the way back down, it bounced right from the area it broke from, which is this area right here, but it's really sloppy. And then it bounced right off that area it broke from this wedge, right back up and death grind all the way up. And then it came all the way back down. It looked like it wanted to hang out in this area right here, but very, very sloppy. And then it came all the way back down, back to the area it broke from right there. And it's just been bouncing right off of that, right back up. So it's basically in a range from 1650 to 1350. You see how I broke that down? And I'm just paying attention to the big picture. This is just on a 1 minute time frame. Move to a 10-minute time frame. You could see it a little bit clearer. Your wedge right here broke to the upside, came back down, even exceeded it. It should have bounced right there, but it exceeded it. Bounced, consolidated, pushed up, ramped up, all the way back down to the area it broke out from, and bouncing right off of that. You see how I do that with all those lines? But the way I explained it, though, I hope you guys were able to follow along with that. That's what I see. It's very, very sloppy, but it's just bouncing off of that support from that wedge right here at 14 bucks. But it looks like it'll probably push higher over that 1650. It's just a very sloppy stock. I wouldn't trade a stock like this. That's good that you're following what I'm saying, though. And that's the point of where you got to separate yourself from stocks that move differently. You know, this moves very, very sloppy, but it's still textbook in a sloppy way. I'm not going to trade something like this. I'll trade something that fits more textbook and is a lot more cleaner than that, if you know what I'm saying. Let me just see if I can find an example. Bring up my chart patterns. Something like this. It's a lot more textbook and clean. You know, you got your clear wedge right there. It broke from the wedge to the upside, pulled back down to the area it broke out from, bounced, and off it went. Stocks all move in their own different ways. They all have their own personality. That's why you just got to break down charts. And if you see a stock and it consistently has volume, like what I was doing with APVO, I was making a killing on this stock because it just kept doing textbook breakouts over and over and over again. And people forget about this stock and they move on to what's hot on the day, while I'm over here trading the same stock day in and day out, making consistent good money. Sometimes I'll trade ETFs, and no problem, Harvey. Happy to help. The only time I'll trade ETFs is if it's the VIX has a big spike, the market's crashing. I'll trade the UVXY, and it used to be the TVIX, but they retired the TVIX, so it's not around no more. See, I even have my ETF list right here. Oil, gas, gold ETFs. So these are all my ETFs. I have all my sectors, my oil ETFs, gold ETFs, natural gas, market ETFs like your TQQQ, your SQQQ, your UDOW, SDOW, VIX, UVXY, VXX, SPY. But like I said, I don't trade them too much, but when there's an opportunity, I'll trade it. Like when the oil crash happened at the beginning of the year, I think it was, when the markets opened on Monday and all the oil crashed, that was an opportunity. That's when I'll trade, those ETFs. But for the most part, I just trade equities. I don't trade options. I just stick with equities. Options, I've been trying to learn options forever. I can never grasp it. Still to this day, 5 years into it, guys. It's just way, I can't get it. It's just something that you got to consistently do and stick with, and one day it'll just click. That's what I've been told. CBAT, we already went over. I'll be keeping an eye on this one too. There's really no point in doing any technical analysis on it because it's at all-time highs. It could either gap up or gap down. So I'm not going to waste my time drawing lines. If the stock gaps up $5, you know, that would have been pointless. So what I'll do is I'll just go back and study how the stock moved on Friday with the volume that it had and take notes, you know, like taking notes from like a stock like DraftKings, DKNG. I call it Donkey Kong. DraftKings has a personality. It likes to shake people out of their positions, reverse, and then rip to the upside. What do I mean by that? Like a good example is like, let me see. It's hard to pinpoint it right here. But like right here, people will think it's short, so they go short. And then they rip it back up, like right here. And it just continues to go higher. Like I've taken a few losses on DraftKings, and every single time it shook me out and reversed and just surged up in price. And I just said, screw it. I'm not trading you because you have a bag of tricks. Yeah, Donkey Kong. DKNG. I mean, look at the ticker. How could you not think Donkey Kong? DKNG. Come on. I don't think DraftKings. There's nothing wrong with Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong was a great game. But if you guys are interested, though, head over to the description of this video or to my channel in the About section. Join the Trading Learning 101 Discord group, guys. It's absolutely free. I'm in here all the time sharing my ideas, sharing what I'm trading. A lot of good people in this Discord, guys. Learn from each other, grow, share ideas. And what I like about this too is I have a trading buddy section. In this section, write a little bio about yourself. You don't have to get too specific. Just what you like to trade, your style of trading, how long you've been doing it. Post a little something about yourself with your trading, or go through and read what other people have posted and find a trading buddy. Kind of like what MIC does, a trading accountability buddy. You know, you need a partner and a friend, a buddy in the stock market. Someone to help you stick to your rules, you know, someone to study with and push each other. Because let's admit it, guys, in the stock market, it's a lonely world. We don't really have too many people to talk to people about what goes on. No one really knows what it's like to be a trader until they do it. You know, it's a very lonely world. Trading Learning 101. Here, I'll show you guys real quickly. Either go to the video description that we're in. I have a link in there. Or go to my channel and just go right on over to the About section. And right in this About section, if you scroll down, I have all these links. I have a link right there to the Discord chat room, my Instagram, Twitter, my Facebook page, and my official launch launch cart. If you guys want to buy Trading Learning 101 merch, I have all that up for you guys. Click on the Discord chat room. It'll direct you right to it. Right there. It's absolutely free. Just verify that you're human once you enter. Because the thing with Discord is there's a lot of spammers and bots out there that love spamming Discord. So I have to take the precautionary to have bots protect us from raiders and people who like to spam and have no life. There's a lot of scammy stuff out there, guys, so just protect yourself. And like I said, I'm in there all throughout the week, always posting my ideas, what I'm trading. And there's a lot of good people in that Discord. And they're all doing the same thing you guys are trying to do. Learn, grow, and make that money. It is a lonely world. And on social media and the stock market, you have all those people who just want to hate and troll on things that you post. You know, just like stock twits. I try getting on stock twits, and every time I post something or post something positive, there's always someone there to shoot it down and be negative on it. But we've been going now for almost 2 hours, guys. I think that's going to about wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this Sunday Stock Talk, and I hope you guys enjoy the Friday live streams, watching me trade live. The past 3 Fridays, we've been able to pull in profit. The hardest trading day of the week. So I'm going to continue to stream on Fridays and day trade with you guys. Maybe it'll lead to more things, who knows? But if it picks up and starts catching on, I'm more than happy to do it. I love doing it. So the next time I am live will be this Friday. I've been going live day trading every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And then for a second, I was posting all of my live stream of trade ideas, but it's just too much. There's already a bunch of people out there already who stream trade ideas, so take advantage of that, guys. No problem, Amanda. Thank you, Harvey. I hope you guys enjoyed this stock talk. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Rest up. My favorite day of the week, Monday, is tomorrow. I call it Money Monday. Ready to kick the week off. Go from being that person where your favorite day of the week is Friday, TGIF, to now, I hate Fridays because the market closes on Fridays. Now, Monday is my favorite day of the week. No problem, Jay Shelton. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all you guys subscribing to the channel. And thanks for being a part of the community. It means a lot to me, guys. I appreciate all of you guys. This is only the beginning, guys. I'll be around for a while. A long time. So Lens Lu Wah Hung. I hope I said that correctly. Thank you. I like doing these live streams with you guys. Even though sometimes I can't talk and I mumble my words. But I hope everything was all good and clear on your guys' end. Let me see real quickly. But yeah, I think that's going to about wrap it up. Join the Discord group. It's absolutely free, guys. Description of this video, there should be a link, or go to my YouTube channel. A lot of good, great people in this chat room, guys. Take advantage of it. And it's filled with educational content. Filled. I'm always adding stuff to it. All right, we got someone from Asia, 12 hours ahead. Wow. Asia? That's crazy. That'd be so cool to visit Asia, I think. I've left the United States once, and I went to Canada, and it wasn't even fun. You know, young and dumb, 19, because you only got to be 19 to drink over there and go to the casino. But that's cool. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. I'll see you guys all Monday. As I always say, have that patience, have that discipline, and study, study, study. Later, everybody.